We begin with another police killing caught on video in San Antonio, Texas, where two deputies were responding to a domestic abuse call. Vincent, welcome. Let me ask you, what do you think of the tape you've seen?
Well, it's very disturbing, John, from what I saw. But one thing that's very important to put out first is that we're only looking at about 4.5 minutes of what police say took over a 20-minute or longer time frame. So, we don't see what happened before the shooting. We only see what happened during the shooting and after the shooting. But, one thing I can say is from what I saw, it did appear that Mr. Flores did have his hands up, which is basically a surrender position. So it is troubling that he was shot the way he was. I think back to Walter Scott down in Charleston that was running away from the officer that was shot in the back, that was captured on cell phone video. You have this video of Mr. Flores being shot, so it's kind of hard not to say, here we go again. Again, I don't want to rush to judgment on what the officers did, but, from my perspective, from what I saw, I didn't see a need for use of deadly force.
All we know is that the officers were called out on a domestic violence call. How does that change the way police act when they arrive on the scene, or does it?
Well, domestic violence calls are probably the second most dangerous calls a police officer can go on, next to traffic stops, because you're dealing with people that are already combative, whether it's one subject, two subjects, three subjects, whatever. So you're already dealing with someone that's combative. So the officer got a call that there were injured parties inside the home, so their level of awareness is going to be tweaked a lot higher than a normal call.
Vincent Hill, it's good to see you. Thank you again for being on the program.
Thank you, John. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Los Angeles police officers will hit the streets wearing body cameras. The LAPD plans to deploy more than 7,000 cameras in the coming months. That would make the department the biggest to use the recording devices. But the move is facing criticism over who will be outfitted with the cameras and who will get to see the videos from them. Vincent Hill is a retired police officer and now a private investigator, joining us from Atlanta this morning. Do you see any unintentional, unintended consequences of police wearing these body cameras? Just as an example, might it affect the behavior of an officer?
Well, I think that's twofold, Stephanie, and here's why. For the 1.5% of officers that are actually bad apples and are actually doing illegal actions or unethical actions, I think it will put them on the forefront a lot faster, and departments can handle them accordingly. However, for the other 98.5% of officers that are actually doing their jobs, using the amount of force necessary to effect the arrest, I don't see it changing their behavior, because at the end of the day, their job is to go home to their families and to protect and serve the communities.
Which police officers should be wearing them? For example, in Los Angeles, traffic cops won't be equipped with them. I would think they have a lot of interaction with the public that might benefit from these body cameras.
Absolutely. If anyone should have those cameras, it should be traffic cops. In my days of patrol, I can tell you personally that the most dangerous and unpredictable situation an officer will find himself in is a traffic stop. It can go from zero to all heck breaking loose in less than 30 seconds. So you would need that body cam there to be able to articulate, this is why I had to use force, this is why I had to use deadly force. So if anyone would need it, it would be the traffic cop first.
In LA, the police will be able to view the videos before they file police reports, but the public won't necessarily have access to the videos. Isn't this all supposed to be about transparency? Why can't the public see the videos?
Well, absolutely, and I will tell you, I don't agree with an officer being able to watch the video prior to making a statement. I mean, he should be able to rely on his memory of what happened. So you take the body cam out of the equation, what would he have to rely on, anything besides his memory? But, for the public to be able to readily see them, I don't agree with, and here's why. Let's say there was a shooting and you're a parent and your child was killed. As a parent myself, I wouldn't want my child's video just being blasted on social media, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or what have you. So there's that expectation of privacy on both parts.
Will the prosecutor who gets to look at this case, is that prosecutor likely to indict, or if there is a grand jury process in Arlington, maybe put this case before a grand jury?
I don't think so, Tony. Here's why. At the end of the day, the officer was responding to a call, which gave him a legal right to approach Christian Taylor. So You know, it's tragic what happened, but at the end of the day, he was responding to a call, doing his duties.
Let me ask a broader question here. 24 states have passed anywhere in the neighborhood of 40 new laws since Michael Brown was killed in Ferguson, Missouri. Not a single one includes language that further clarifies when officers are justified in using deadly force. Is it time to have that discussion?
Well, there is clarification when officers can use deadly force. There's the use of force continuum, which has been around for hundreds of years. The problem with trying to make policies or laws concerning lethal force or deadly force is quite simply you don't know when you're going to have to make that split-second decision. I mean, I've been on that end of the world where I've had to make those split-second decisions. So you can make as many policies or laws as you want, but there's nothing that's going to tell you you have to make that split-second decision.